So finally, I want to spend a little time talking about where we're taking the Instaview product line in the future. So as I mentioned before, Instaview we released with our 4.8 release, and it's a desktop application, again, that helps us hide the complexity of pointing at either solution-based data sources or complex data sources and quickly getting end users to analytics. And so where do we take it from here? So the first thing we're going to do with the 5.0 release this year is make it very simple for folks to take these analytics, I've found something interesting, and be able to share that throughout the enterprise. And the platform for that obviously will be the Pentaho Business Analytics platform. So we'll be able to, from the Instaview user interface, be able to say, hey, I want to share this analytics, publish it up to a business analytics server, and then they can take advantage of either any pre-built analysis views that it may have created against this data source, or be able to leverage those metadata models that were generated under the covers to do their own ad hoc analysis. So very exciting to be able to now deploy the findings we have throughout the enterprise. Even more exciting than that is the concept of being able to now publish these solution templates themselves as data source templates or new data source templates. So up here in the user console, one of the things that you can do is, as an administrator or somebody who's been enabled to create new data source connections, is we have a very simple wizard that takes people through connecting to common data sources today, like a text file, like a database, or a data mart. With Instaview, we want to be able to take these same templates with the same configuration in terms of how we would want to prompt a user for inputs and ranges for where they want to take a slice of that data for analytics, and publish that so that it becomes a part of our new data source wizard inside of the data console. So now you can imagine in the thin client, if I want to be able to enable users to grab a sandbox of data, let's say out of my reservoir data sitting inside of Hadoop, I can control that as an administrator by publishing an Instaview template where they go through, limit them to taking an aggregated slice of that data from the big data source. It would be staged then for them to do their own ad hoc analysis. So really exciting, again, taking that 1, 2, 3 paradigm and pushing it up into a thin client so that it's more accessible throughout the enterprise. And then finally, what I didn't mention is the current architecture of Instaview is hide the complexity of accessing the data. And what we do is we pull it out and aggregate it as we stage it in a high-performance in-memory store to facilitate that interactive experience from an analytics standpoint. So that's where we see phase 2 is publishing a similar scenario, similar architecture, where they would be able to go through, create new sandboxes of data that would be staged similarly in a high-performance analytic storage platform. The final phase, as we see the big data space mature in projects like Cloudera's Impala, where they're beginning to focus more on the performance aspects so that these platforms can be used directly for more analytic type use cases. We're going to take the same Instaview paradigm, be able to publish those data source templates where instead of staging the extract of data, we can map it directly onto the native sources as they are. So again, imagine when I'm working with something like a MongoDB, where today not integrated very well with any of the common BI platforms on the market because it doesn't support SQL or doesn't support MDX. You have to write natively to the API. It also doesn't have the same richness in terms of its query architecture. So what we can do through Instaview is hide that complexity, wrap it in a layer that allows us to have all the richness of query capabilities from an end user standpoint. Again, no complexity, just drag and drop attributes that you want to analyze, and expose that in a thin client where, as these platforms mature in terms of performance and accessibility, we can then map all these end user tools for ad hoc reporting, for interactive analysis, for data discovery, for creating dashboards directly against these big data sources, leaving the data in place.